Did you listen to the bonus episode?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so listening on the trailer, what did you think of that? Did you? What did you?
Oh man, we kind of called a lot.
You called a lot, man. You called a lot of it, and that was pretty dope. We were definitely thinking that it would probably be more than they gave us. I think we didn't know
Yeah.
what the pace was going to be and how it's going to be kind of drawn out. But I think the potential that we were talking about and wanted, I think it was there. I think the potential is still there. It just mixed in with a whole bunch of stuff. It's just the delivery was kind of
I think you can take. I think you could take like the basic structure of it, like all the sort of plot points you want to hit, like the whole excursion to like the investigation on Corellia, the industrial site, like pretty much the rough structure, and just like some changes in the way it's shot, changes in the way it's edited, like probably trimming some fat here and there, right? Making things quicker, shorter, just changing the tempo of certain things, and this thing could really hum, right?
Yeah.
You gotta, of course, like make it where Thrawn actually leads Ahsoka. It's like have those things set up and actually pay off and show them actually doing things. The bones are good, but
to me, it's kind of like with time management. It's like the time is there because this is a slow moving show. And for that, you would think they would fill it with different things. Like I said, even early on, I was kind of concerned when they were like situations where it's just something that's being talked about in a roundabout way, but not directly to each other. And like I said, Ahsoka and Sabine could be, kind of talking around something, but not saying it. But then Ahsoka will walk off and talk to somebody else about the same thing she should be mentioning to Sabine, and vice versa.
Yeah,
it's like you're there, but you're not speaking, and you'll speak to somebody else. So when I saw that early on, it was just like, okay, here we go. So they're not using that time to be like, if anything, for the folks who's watching it, or even the folks who've seen the other stuff, fill in the blanks. What's been going on? What are your thoughts? How did you come to that? The things that was never shown, they could have been using that time to fill in with all that space, but instead they have these weird talk around stuff or not saying anything, but these big things are coming up. And so, we get a better sense of things a little bit when we had the flashback of the Clone Wars and stuff, but even that wasn't utilized to its best either. But even with that, it should have been more stuff like that, filling in the blanks, the thoughts, the process, how stuff came to things, since we're going to be here for that long. Otherwise, the show episodes need to be shorter or compacted together or something. But to have everything drawn out, and then when you have a chance to really make things seem smart and tight, you don't take it. Yeah. And so it's just like I said, time management. It's just bad use of the situation. Either make the episodes shorter or fill in those gaps with something more than this back and forth. Like I said, that's why it reminded me of a play where everything is just drawn out because you can't change locations. You don't have a slew of people that you can interact with. So, you're trying to make it seem like a normal conversation, but you got it drawn out with nuances and stuff. So, if the two people are trapped in a room for 2 hours, you can't tell what the answer is because the play will be over in 10 minutes. So you have to be like, so what about Dad? Oh, I remember when his father came over from blah, blah, blah. And he had a heart. I didn't ask you that. But that's the story you'll get. Everything but the answer. But at the end, or towards the end, you'll get the reveal of the answer to the question that you asked in the first 10 minutes.
Right. It's kind of annoying when character the tension comes from characters not talking about the thing, right? Whatever the thing is, we're going to avoid talking about the thing, and that causes tension, or it causes misunderstanding, or it's like you've got the critical piece of information where if you just told me, I'd be like, oh well, then that means this, boom, problem solved, right?
And it's unresolved, and the fact that it's done that way, and everybody knows the answers, and then all the characters are doing it. So Ahsoka and Sabine is doing it, Shin and Baylan is doing it, Hera and everybody doing it.
Shin and Baylan don't have tension between them, and that's okay.
Yes.
Right? It's where there was tension, it wasn't simmering. It was like the stovetop's on low. It's not even started to boil yet. There just wasn't sufficient tension. There wasn't feeling of movement, like moving forward with the story, with the revelations, with the character growth, whatever it is, right? There wasn't a building sense of tension, right? You always got ups and downs,
Right,
low
right.
scenes, tense scenes, right?
Ebb and
But
flow.
like, yeah, it is not like every episode winds me up just a little bit more,
Right.
right? Winds me up just a little bit more, winds me up just a little bit more. That's not there.
Yeah, everybody just taking their time, kind of chilling. There's nothing. There's no fire under their butts at all. And with all the situations, because even with Thrawn, even though it was smooth, he's calm, cool, and stuff. You almost didn't feel like it was any kind of, like he wants to go, I'm sure. But even somebody who's supposed to be cool, I would even appreciate seeing some tension with him, because it's like, I've been in here for too long.
Make him
Let's
eager.
go. Let's
Make
go.
him
Yes,
eager,
something,
right?
something. But even him, I like that he's calm and cool. But it's almost like when somebody's like fighting and stuff, like even when movies when people are under gunfire and stuff, and you see like, and I saw this first with James Bond.
Mm.
He's so cool that he's getting shot around his face, and he's not even blinking from the gunfire.
Right.
Like they're barely missing him, and he's
and
so cool
that
in this situation.
undercuts the tension because
Yes.
he's not concerned.
It just shows how badass he is. Not that he's not in danger. Oh, he's in danger because that bullet almost hit him. But
Right.
the fact that he's not even caring about a bullet striking him, and he's still under pressure doing what he got to do to get ready. Oh, that's a problem, but not his right now. Like he's beyond the tension. It's nothing going on behind Thrawn that, but even like you said before, that thing that everybody's afraid of was to be released, and they had that in the background, and it has to move his butt, and he's being calm in it, but he's really like, I really got to start stacking these cards in a certain kind of way because we have to go. We have to go. I'm not going to show it to everybody that I'm concerned, but something. But it's no tension, no clock, no countdown, no nothing. Even the fact that Thrawn is coming back, and that's going to be such a big threat on everybody. Even the New Republic is not concerned like that.
Well,
even them,
they're not
concerned.
They don't think the threat's real. They don't think the threat's real. It would have been one thing if the New Republic was like, look, I've read the dossier on Thrawn. Thank God he's not around. But you've got no actionable intelligence that he's actually returning, right? If he returns, what? He's got the one ship that was with him, right? Or however many I think he might have had multiple Star Destroyers to get yanked with him, like 3 of them. But he's only down to 1, right? It's like, dude, even if he came back with all 3 Star Destroyers,
right.
Like, okay, that's bad.
Yeah.
Like
his existence is the problem. Because regardless of what he has, he's gonna MacGyver that situation and work it out. He's gonna be a problem regardless of what he has. He have a spoon and a thimble, and our lives are gonna be in danger.
Right. But like even with Thrawn, you having that just ice cold calmness. Yes, you need to have that where like no matter what, he's not gonna get flustered. But you can still have him say, like, after 12 years or whatever it is, 12 cycles here, right? We can finally go back home, right? Like having him turn to Captain Enoch and be like, Enoch being like, we're jazzed, we're finally going home, right? Like just something. Right? Because otherwise it just sounds like he's like, oh, we finally get to launch my yacht, and we get to go on a cruise,
right?
So yeah, they just didn't crank anyone up, right?
Did you hear that little dig where, well, it's not a dig, but when Ezra and Sabine was talking, and she was telling about stuff and talked about the Emperor and all that kind of stuff, and she's like, yeah, he's dead or something like that, or supposedly he's. I'm like, that's interesting that they threw that in, but I
just went right past it.
All right, well, man, it was good catching up. All right, man, good seeing you. Good catching up. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Try not to party too hard.
I'll try. Peace.
Later.
Later.